Hello, my little crafty monsters. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is fabulous. So, in today's fabulous tutorial, we are going to be doing card bases because we want to start getting the ball rolling for all of the Christmas cards and maybe the thank you cards for when you go over to somebody's home for Thanksgiving. You might want to send them a little thank you card for hosting the Thanksgiving dinner there, or if you want to do some Halloween cards. That's what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be doing Halloween cards, but in order for us to get these Halloween cards started, we need to get the card bases started. So card bases are basically these little bad boys, and they're just the papers that are already cut and already scored to the size of an A2 card. Now you can do any size card you want, but I tend to do a lot of A2 cards because you could get a lot more bang out of your buck, and you know me, guys, I'm always about getting more out of your buck. So the card bases, I usually buy the Recollections papers at Michael's. Usually whenever you guys see construction paper, as far as like card bases or card mats, or even, most of all the construction colored paper I have and that you see me use, I always purchase that at Michael's. Honestly, I've never purchased any paper anywhere else but Michael's. So it's just my preference, guys. It's just my preference. But anyway, so I purchased these cardstocks at Michael's, and they're the 110 pounds. Now, when you're going to do cards, you want your card base to be really thick, because you don't want to give a card that's all thin and flimsy. You want it to have some stability. You want it to have, you want it to hold itself up, especially when you're going to throw mats in front of it and you're going to embellish it, and you're going to do, sorry about that, guys, or you're going to do so many other different things on it. But that's what you definitely want. You want to get a card base and start with a card base that is 110 pounds, if not higher. And I usually, what I do is I always have a bunch of card bases already ready to go, because I don't like to waste my time on all that. So Jesse has this container full of card bases. So if I have to go out and do a card, I just grab one, whatever shade I want. I have different shades. I have cream, I know you can't see because of the light, but I have the cream colors, I have the really bright light whites, and then I have just white, and then I have blacks. And I have so many different other colors of that 110 cardstock, because Michael's Recollections is Michael's brand. So Michael's carries a huge assortment of shades of construction paper. So you guys definitely go check that out. Sometimes they have them on sale, sometimes they don't. But if they don't have them on sale, you guys could definitely use your coupon to go purchase one of those things. So, one of those things. What are you talking about, Jesse? Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. One of those packs of the construction paper that you will definitely need for the card bases. Now, when you're going to do the card mats, the mats in the front, what I like to use, this is the only one that I have in front of me. So, what I like to use is the 65 pound. I use 65 pound because I still want to give that card more sturdiness, if that's even a word. If it isn't, then that's a word now, guys, so start using it. Come on, everybody's making up words anyway. Haven't you heard the songs from nowadays? Anywho, I'm not going to get into that because that's a total different video. That's a whole nother tutorial. But again, I use the Recollections, and this is the one that I use from Michael's. And so, without wasting any more time, because this video is going to be like kind of short, guys, and I'm not going to do the what is it called, the fast laps, because the hyperlapse, sorry, what did I say? I'm all thinking Fast Pass from Disneyland. Anyway, so you do the hyperlapse. I'm not going to do that because I want you to see the whole entire process. And as I'm doing it, I'm going to explain it. And I'm also going to, I will be writing the measurements and the score measurements on my dashboard so that you guys could basically take a look at that and you'll have the measurements there. If you guys don't catch it on there, I will definitely have them on the screen right here as well too when I start to cut the papers and when I start to score them, and then also I will try to put them on the description. Yes. Alright guys, well, no more wasting any time. Let's get down to the desk and start cracking on this card basis. See you guys in a bit. Hola, my little crafty monster. So, we are going to start to cut this. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and get my paper trimmer. Because you will need a paper trimmer. Okay? Whatever choice you want. So, you will need a paper trimmer of any choice if you want. There's so many paper trimmers out there, honestly, to tell you the truth, and like honestly, this is one that I tend to use. And then you will also need a scoreboard. Now you don't need this big one, you could use a smaller one, but this is just the one that I have out right now, and so this is the one we're going to use. Now your scoreboard will come with a scoring tool, but if for whatever reason you do not have a scoring tool, I'm sure you have a scoring tool. Just scratch that part out. I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's been a long day, guys. So, let's start off by talking about measurements and scoring. So, let's make sure that you guys could see this. Okay. Is that centered? Okay, so now, on your piece of paper, you could do this several ways, okay? So, your paper basically is 8.5 by 11, okay? That's what all your paper is going to be, unless you start off with a 12 by 12. But, for the most part, most of us will start off with an 11.5 by, an 8.5 by 11, okay? So, now, you have two choices. Okay, so I'm going to show you on this orange paper because we are going to be using orange paper today because we will be making Halloween cards on a later video. So you have two choices. You can cut this down this way. Okay, by cutting it down this way, what you will do is you're going to have a card that opens and closes this way. If you want it to be landscape, then you are going to basically, well, no, you can cut it the same way. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm telling you, this is a long day. Jesse, get it together. Get it together. So there's two ways that you can actually have your card fold. So you can have it fold this way. So you can use it portrait or you can use it landscape. And it's going to open up or it's going to open to the side, okay? Now, if you want this to open straight up this way, like this, and that way you're really only going to be able to use it portrait style, because landscape you could use it that way too, but I don't know, for some reason I just think it looks funny. So whenever I cut the papers like that so that they open upward, I usually tend to just use them as a portrait. But anyway, so you will hardly see me ever cut the paper, the cards like that. You will always, most likely, 98% of the time, you will see me cut the papers so that I can get this fold, so that I can use it either that way or this way, whichever way you want. Okay, so for that, we're going to start with an 11.5. Why do I keep saying 11.5? We are going to start with an 11 by 8.5. Okay. And then what we will do, this is a traditional cut, okay? We are going to cut this in half. So we're going to cut it at 5.5 because 5.5 from 11 and a half, that's the half, okay? So what we will do is we will cut it at 5 and a half. So let's put it here. Cut at 5 and a half. Okay, so you're gonna cut at 5 and a half. So let's go ahead and cut that. Now we're gonna cut a few of them, okay? Because, like I said, we're gonna do a few card bases, so that you guys could get the feel of it. Okay, so we'll do. We'll do 4 cards. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and cut this to 5 and a half. Now, you guys, from personal experience, you guys don't get all upset and try to get this extremely perfect, because it's kind of hard. These papers are cut by a machine, so even the papers, when they come from the actual package, sometimes they're slightly off by a smidge. I call it smidge, like very, very thin, by like a smidge or like a little centimeter or whatever. But no, not a centimeter, less than that. I don't even know what's less than a centimeter. But anyway, you guys know what I mean. And sometimes they're not perfectly shaped. Like, honestly, they're not. I mean, it's just the way that they are. I mean, it's hard. Okay, so we have this one here. We're gonna go ahead and cut another one. We're cutting this at 5 and a half. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and make 2 cards. Cutting it the other way, like I had explained to you guys. So now this is 5 and a half here. You're gonna cut this in half. So 5 and a half, half of 5 and a half. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, 8 and a half. Why do I? Okay, dude, seriously, get it together. So half of 8 and a half is 4 and a quarter. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this at 4 and a quarter. Okay. So cut that at 4 and a quarter. Okay. And we're gonna set that aside. Oh, well, actually, you know what? Let's cut one more. But we're gonna cut this one the regular style, because we're gonna go ahead and score these little bad boys, so you guys could see how easy it is to make these card bases. So you guys could go ahead and start making some card bases and making some beautiful, beautiful cards. I want to see them. Now, okay, so we're gonna just talk about this one right here. Okay, so we're gonna call this, we're gonna actually get this card, okay, and we're gonna fold this in half. And in order to fold this in half, we're gonna basically score this at 4 and a quarter, because this is 8 and a half. So half of 8 and a half is 4 and a quarter. So we're gonna go ahead and score it at 4 and a quarter. So right here on this one, we're gonna score at 4 and a quarter. Okay, and this, we're gonna call it the traditional cut. Okay. Now for the other one, we cut the other paper at sorry. So we cut at 4 and a quarter. Okay. And then for that one, because this one's 4 and a quarter by 11, because it's going to be folded this way, we're going to fold this. Half of 11 is 5 and a half, so we're going to score this at 5 and a half. Okay, and then we're going to call this the skinny. Yeah, we'll call it the skinny cut. Okay, so this is basically the measurement and the scoring for the card bases. Okay. Okay, so let's start to score these little bad boys, and then we're going to bring out the paper trimmer again, and we're going to go ahead and cut some mats that are going to go on the front. So I'm basically showing you how to do the layering in the front as well. Okay, let's put the little lock on here, put this aside. Alrighty then, so now for this part, we will need our scoring tool, which is a scoreboard. Okay, and we will need a scoring tool, and I have a scoring tool. I like to use the little ball scoring tool because it's just my preference. So now what we're gonna do is, for the traditional cut, remember the traditional cut, we're going to score this at exactly 4 1/4, which would be half of this. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure because right now it just, for some reason, it looked really uneven to me, but it is. It is 4 1/4. So sometimes my mathematical skills are not that great, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and score this at 4 1/4. Okay, and you don't want to press too hard. What you want to do is you want to grab this little ball tool. Should not fit inside your track. It should sit on top of the track. So it should basically just roll on top of the track. Now, if this goes inside of your track, if this little ball fits inside, it's basically gonna cut your paper. And you don't want it to cut it. You just want it to score it. So right here, and then all you're gonna do is sit it on here with some light pressure and drag your tool towards you. You don't have to hold this straight up like this. You don't have to hold it any way. Just hold it like a pencil. Put pressure with this finger right here. Hold some pressure and drag it to you. Okay. Now, when you're in the scoring tool and the scoreboard, I like to fold my card here and then here, so that I get a perfect card all the time. Okay. So let's go ahead and try that a few more times. We're gonna go ahead and get that traditional card that is basically cut at 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. Okay, and did I say that right? Yeah, 8 1/2 by 4 1/4. So we are going to, no, I didn't say that right. He is so out of it today. Oh my God, you guys are really like, could you imagine? So yeah, this is 8 1/2 by 4 1/4, by 4 1/2 actually. How did that happen? Oh. Jesse. I just figured out what I did. Oh my God, I was confusing myself. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. So, when we cut the 11, we cut it at 5 1/2, obviously. And this is at 8 1/2. So, this right here, I was all trying to like, how in the heck did he come up with 5 1/2? But no, it's because we're scoring at 4 1/4. Jesse, you got to get with it. Seriously. Okay, so we're going to get our 8 1/2 paper by 5 1/2. And we will be scoring this at 4 1/4, okay? And this will basically make the card base for your your greeting cards. So whatever greeting cards you guys want, this will basically do it. Okay. Let's try this again. Grab your paper, put it up on the bumpers, get your scoring tool, and score it at 4 1/4. And then you're gonna fold it. Increase it. Now sometimes these little ball scoring tools are hard because they go out of the track, but I really do prefer these over just a bone folder. Bone folders, I use them when I'm doing that, like envelopes and stuff like that. So here are our little orange card bases. Okay. And these ones, we're going to open them this way. So that's how we cut them, this way. Now I also cut, oh, we had one more, sorry. You guys are not getting away that easy. Score at 4 1/4. Whoa. See, this is what I'm telling you. Okay, let's use this one. Because for some reason in this video, nothing is going right. I don't know what it is. Are we on a full moon today? Anyway, so there we go. So now on these ones, the ones that we cut at 4 1/4, okay, which these were 8 1/2, and we cut it in half to 4 1/4. These ones, because we want them to fold this way, we will be doing it long ways, and we're going to score this at 5 1/2. Okay, and then we're going to fold this over like so. Okay. This will be a card that opens upward like this, or if you do it landscape, it's going to open this way. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. So this is the skinny cut. Okay, once again, we're going to get the long ways, and we're going to score this at 5 1/2. Okay, we're going to fold this over, and we're going to crease the line, and there you have it. This one opens upward. Okay. So these are the card bases. Let's put this aside, because we no longer will need this scoreboard unless you're going to be making a little bit more. Then of course you'll only need the scoreboard once, and that's only just to score your card bases, and then that's it. You'll be done with this. Okay, so now for the next part, what we will be doing is we will be cutting some mats that are going to go on the front. And I want a black mat, and then I also want a different color mat to go in front of that one. So it's going to be like, you know, 2 steps. So in order for us to get that and achieve that, we're going to go ahead and pull our Recollections 65-pound cardstock of whatever color of your choice. I just chose black because we will be doing some Halloween cards, and I'm prepping for that. Okay, so okay, so for the card bases, because these card bases, once they're folded, once they're like this, basically your card is going to be 5 1/2, okay, by 4 1/4, right? So you're going to basically cut it down by a 1/4 of an inch, and that's going to give you this little a little peekaboo rim. I call it a peekaboo rim because it's really small. I mean, you could go smaller than that, but I like to go, I mean, you could go 1/8 of an inch, but honestly, to tell you the truth, I like to go 1/4 of an inch because that's just a little bit more visual when you're actually looking at it. So what we will do is we're going to cut the cardstock 1/4 of an inch smaller than this. Okay, so for instance, does everybody have this written down? Are we all ready? Can I erase this? Give you guys a moment. Okay, so now in order for us to get a card that is going to go fit perfectly on here, we're going to remember that this card right here, the front face of this card is basically 5.5 by 4.25. Okay, this is basically what we're starting with. 5.5 by 4.25. So we know that we want the card to sit in front of here to be 1/4 inch all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut that card, a cardstock, to 5.25 by 4. Oh my God! Sorry guys. Okay, so let's do this again. This card is 5.5 by 4.25. Okay. So we will be cutting the base, the card. We're gonna call it the first mat. First mat cut at, and we're gonna cut that at 5.25 by 4. Okay, and that's the first mat. Okay. Now, if you want another mat to go in front of that, all we will be doing, guys, is going down by 1/4 inch. So the second mat is going to be cut at 5 inches by 3.75 inch. Okay, and then if you want a third mat, then you're going to cut that one down to 4.75 by 3.5. So you guys get the point? All you're doing is going down by 1/4 inch, and that's going to give you 1/4 inch smaller on each side all the way around. And you can layer these little bad boys as many layers as you want, as long as your little heart is content. For this project, we're only going to do 2 of them. So basically, then this black paper, I'm going to cut it down to the 5.25 by 4, and then that's going to go on here. And then I'm going to cut another paper that's going to be this size here, and that one's going to go on top of that. And that's basically going to be my mats. So let's show you what basically I am talking about. Okay, so would it be easier if I cut it this way? How many will I be able to get? I think I probably should have cut it the other way, but oh wow, guys. So we cut this at 4 inches. Now we need to cut this at 5.25. Okay. So we cut it at 4. Now we're cutting at 5.25. Okay. Now save your scraps, guys. Remember, never throw away your scraps. The blade goes down sometimes. That's why I'm like, okay. Now you have your black mats that are going to go in front of your card. And do you see that little peekaboo rim that we get all around the orange? That's 1/4 inch. Okay. And every time you want another layer to go on top of this one, you just go 1/4 inch, and this is the size of rim that you're going to get all around on each layer that you put down. Okay. See? So let's try that one more time. Let's cut it this way and see. I don't think I'm going to get more out of here, but I don't know. So I cut it at 4. Right? And then we're going to cut this at 5.5. No, I lie. 5.25. I'm like, Jesse, get it together. So you cut it at 4 by 5.25. Will I get 2? Oh my god. So it's a lot. Hello, Jesse. I don't know. My little brain isn't working. So that's why I cut it wrong the first time. This way you're going to get 4 for your card. Look at that. I do this so often and you would think that I would remember this, but you know, that's just the way the ball bounces, guys. Okay. So 4 by 5.25, guys. 4 by 5.25. Okay. And this is going to give you the mat to go on top of this. Doesn't that look awesome? Okay. So let's put one right here. Let's do this one more time. We're going to cut these at 4. By 5.25, guys. See how easy these are to make, these cards? These card bases. And then once you have all of this out and done with, all you have to do next, guys, is just decorate it. Now, you can make thank you cards, you can make invitations for like a party instead of you buying them or printing them out. Make some cute invites, guys. Get creative, you know? Get the kids involved. I mean, what kid doesn't like crafts, right? And so it works on your skinny card as well too, because all the card bases are basically the same size, so it's going to work for all of them. And that's what we're using for these little bad boys. Okay. And then, like I said, you can go smaller and smaller. So, for instance, let me get another paper. Give me 1 second. Because I can show you. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. Sneak peek of the paper that's going to be used for the Halloween cards. I'm not going to tell you what it is. That's a surprise. So, I'm thinking that I want it's like this one. Yeah, we could do this one. We will do this one, guys. So, now because this one's a 12 by 12, we're basically going to get a lot of mats out of this one. But it's going to be perfect because we're going to do quite a few little cards. So, let's take off the Let's pick this up. Now, because the first mat, we cut it down to 5 1/4 by 4. This mat, we're going to cut it by 5 by 3 3/4. So, I don't know. Should we do that now? What y'all thinking? What y'all thinking? So, let's do that. 3 3/4. We're going to cut it down to 3 3/4, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. See how many we get out of this little bad boy piece of paper. Okay, so 3 3/4 by 5. Whoa. So we got one little bad boy right there. Three 3/4 by 5. 2 little bad boys. So we're basically going to get 6 out of a 12 by 12. Okay, so these papers are cut down to 3 3/4 by 5, guys. This is the second mat that's going to go on top of the first mat on our card bases. So that's basically how that's going to go. I'm going to go ahead and glue one down so that you guys are able to see basically what I'm talking about, because either way I'm going to glue it anyway, so you guys are very welcome. I will show you guys what it's going to basically look like. Now, you're probably saying, Jesse, why are you putting orange, black, and orange if, you know, that's going to kind of blend in? But I'm glad you guys asked, because the item that's going to go on top of this is going to be so colorful and so impact with all these little details and all these little stuff that I want the actual card base to be very simple. You know what I mean? Very simple. So I'm only going to do this just to show you guys, but originally I wouldn't be doing this yet, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to stamp some black images in the side of the card, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. I like to do all of the stamping of the sentiment, and any stamping I like to do it before I start assembling any mats, before I start assembling anything. I like to do that first. But in this case, to show you guys, I'm going to go ahead and do one card so that I can show you what it's going to basically look like. So, the cards I'm going to be doing are going to be opening this way. Okay, so get your black mat or whatever color mat you're going to get, and put a fairly generous amount of glue. You don't want to saturate this too much, because you don't want this to start to warp too bad. But go ahead and get your glue and center this as center as you possibly can. I have to pick it up, guys, sorry, because if not, I'm not going to see it. Now, just remember, guys, this is a homemade card, so it's not going to be 100% perfect, but, you know, we can try to aim for perfect. Okay? So you're going to go ahead and put that down. Now, this DSP paper is a little bit more thinner than the actual cardstock. So on this one, I'm just lightly touching the glue onto the paper so that it's just lightly glued. You could use any kind of adhesive you guys want. You guys know that I'm an Eileen's kind of... I just dropped this on here. You don't really have a choice but to go at it, guys. Okay? So I just dropped this little bad boy on there. Now, do you see how it framed it? Do you see that frame? That's basically the frame that you guys are going to go for every time you guys set a mat on top of one another. So, like I said, the card base started off at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Every time you want to put a mat on top, you are going to go down by 1/4 of an inch. Okay? Once you go 1/4 of an inch, you're going to have that 1/4 of an inch all the way around your card. And that's basically the look that we're going to go for. Okay. So it's that simple, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and work on the rest of these little card bases. We're gonna go ahead and stamp them and all that. And let me put this down like this, because this is gonna be our picture. We'll see you in a bit. So welcome back, my little crafty monsters. So that's how easy it is to make these little bad boys, these little card bases, so that you can go ahead and get ready to make some awesome little Halloween cards or thank you cards for Thanksgiving, or start to do your little Christmas cards, because we all know you got to get started on those. And you can make invitations for your guys' next event. It's always nice to get a homemade invite instead of you having something that you just printed out, or that you just went to the store and you purchased, or you had somebody else make it. Get the kiddos together and do some crafts. Whose kids don't like to do crafts? So I hope you guys enjoyed this little video, you guys, as much as I enjoyed making this video for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, as well as that little notification button, so that you guys will get notified every time I upload a video, because we all know you don't want to miss out on these fabulous videos. And I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, my little crafty monsters. Till next time, goodbye.